Welcome back to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. And this is Jim McClear in Waverly, Ohio. Oh, well, look at here. Look what I got here. Ta-da! Being helped. The McGolf crew hooking me right up. All right, back to What's in My Golf Drawers Golf Talk, because old club makers, club fitters are tremendous pack rats, and I am no exception. And as we started off, we have been receiving calls and questions from all over the world about golf club fitting, golf club repairs, golf club reviews, and basically golf opinions. So let's have at it, right? And that's what this is all about. So, as we normally do in most of our conversations, we talk about what I have going on. And I have a plethora of stuff going on. This is another Wilson week as far as builds go, but we'll go with this one first. This was always a fun one. And we have the Wilson D9 driver. And as you can tell, it is lefty, right? It's going that way, this way. Anyway, it's going left. And what happened was I had a retiree, and he showed up, and he's a lefty, obviously, and was probably looking at a whole different golf company. And as it turned out, we kept testing, and he kept going back to Wilson. Now, he played Wilson in his younger days, and it was okay. He says he just remembers it being really difficult to hit. So we kept hitting, and he kept hitting these better. So we ended up with that one, and let me get you over here. There they are. I'm going to need a rack over here just for me. And then we ended up with some D9 forged, right? Or I'm sorry, D7 forged, the D7 forged. And the D7 forged are going to have some Modus 105s in them, which I think these things hit really, really good for him. And it's not like we didn't test. We tested everything I had left-handed that would go with that, and that worked out well. And we even went with the staff model wedges and went with the Modus wedge, right? So that worked out pretty good. So he's basically Wilson top to bottom, right? Wilson top to bottom. And not for lack of trying, I will tell you that. Oh, got one more here. Oh, there we go. And then going to Canada, we have yet another one going to Canada, the Wilson driving iron. It's almost like a Wilson day here. And it's a 24-degree utility iron. We've done the other two for him, so why not do this one? And it has the KBS prototype in it. So it's been a good week. Now, just to make sure that I'm not the only, you don't think it's just Wilson in here, I got this to fix. An idle. And it was broken right there. So, had some little green in it, and so I figured I'd have a little fun with him because I know this guy. And we put one of those really cool BB&Fs on there in order to make things work. And that worked out pretty good. We'll let that one drop. And so we have all that. Not to mention we had a truckload of Callaway going out the door, and but it's gone. So I took pictures, but I figured this is the best way to do it. Now, two more things to talk about. Number one, let's talk about glue, okay? You guys know I've switched over to a different style of glue, although the other style is still good, and I still do use it, okay? However, the 3M 810 is a little bit, well, it's a lot a bit faster and probably a little bit stronger. However, if you guys have ever tried to buy any adhesive here as of late, the supply chain is pretty awful, okay? It's very, very awful. And things are being delayed. Well, I got a hold of 3M, and they have turned me on to another product called 420, and it's 420 DP Black, and it's specifically designed for golf clubs.
Hey, tape is on back order till Friday. Grip tape.
All right. And grip tape now is on back order until this Friday. But the 420, specifically designed for golf clubs. In fact, in how they talk about it with shear strength and with that kind of stuff, is the way that they're making golf clubs with it. So I went and started looking for that. And so far, every place that I have gone has been out. Oh, I got my thing. There we go. And they've been out. So if any of you guys are specialty folks with adhesive or know anybody where you normally buy an adhesive and it has a 3M product, let me know, because I have to buy some. Right now, I've got coming out, if the supply chain is working, I'll have some by month's end, and then I'll have even more by next month's end. But I'm going to try this 420 out on a couple. It's supposedly the same shear strength as the 810. It just has a longer working time, which for me works just great. So I'm looking at that, and it's again, it's not inexpensive at all. But if it works and it reduces the failures, I'm all on board about it. Okay, so there's that one. And the last thing we'll talk about, and then is H&M Golf. H&M Golf. They're the makers of adapters and other golf type accessories. You can get weights for different putters, just a sundry different things. And one of the things that they're really big with right now is a new fitting system. And I call it a fitting system, although it doesn't really need to be a fitting system. So as you guys I don't know if you guys are aware, but Club Connect, which is a good working system. However, it's been bought and sold a couple of times in the last year or two. And this last one, the business model is not made for guys like me. And it's become cost prohibitive. And when I mean cost prohibitive, I'm talking to the tune in thousands of dollars prohibitive. And basically for the right to be able to buy it. And I'm not about that. So in discussing different, when you do that, you make a vacuum and there's somebody willing to fill that void. Well, these guys are. And they have what I would say is a lookalike of the Club Connect, and I'm not interested in that one. I am interested in their new one. It's called the All Fit. All right, it's the All Fit. And their super package looks a lot like that. Okay. Now, why do I have this? Well, I'm going to show you. So you get the adapter. Now, stay with me because it goes a while. Anyway, you get the adapter, and it's going to take place of this adapter, a Mizuno adapter, a Hanma adapter, all the different adapters. All right. So you now have either you get a new shaft and you put this on, or you pop this guy off and put this guy on. And you go, okay. So now I have this guy. And let's say I have a Callaway, and I got to find it in here. There you are. And I want to put in and I want to put it on a Callaway. And, okay, I know, Jim, you just took off the adapter off the Callaway. What do you do that for? Well, this is to get things started. So it has little scallops right here, and you put this little adapter on it. This little adapter looks a lot like that. All right, there you go. See, fit, right? So it goes on there. That sits on there, and then your Callaway club sits on there just like that, and you use the screw that they provide, and it holds it down. And you will also have an adjustment layer of plus or minus 1.5 degrees. So that's pretty cool, right? Okay, so let's say you're bored with your Callaway club, and you want to go to a Mizuno. And so you grab you go into your kit and you buy the Mizuno adapter. That Mizuno adapter goes right on there. And if you see how that works, all right, goes right on there, and the head goes on, crunch it down. Same thing, right? Same thing. Oh, I'm trying to do two things at once, and I'm not very good at it. And so that you got that Mizuno adapter. So let's say one more. Let's say you want to use your Srixon. You go to your Srixon adapter. This is really small, right? And you throw that on there, and you put your head on, tighten it down. So now this one club, or this one shaft, fits. It fits on the one on several heads. Okay, it fits on several heads, and when I mean several, I mean a lot. There, if you look in here, see, I don't want to make sure it falls over. You know, it's hard to see inside. There we go. There's about 12 or 14. Now this is a special kit, but you can buy them individually, so you don't buy the useless ones or the ones you don't carry. Let's put it that way. Now you say, well, that's great, Jim, for a fitter. What about me? Well, what if you're one of those guys that has, I don't know, couple different manufacturers, and you're a tinkerer, right? And you want to be able to take it and not keep popping shafts off or keep popping adapters off. Bam, right? So there you are. So that's what it's for. Now, I showed you guys before, there's an iron adapter. It's an all-fit iron adapter, which I think is a slick little setup. It's sort of in the same plane as the other one, but it's much cleaner looking. And it doesn't take a machinist skill set to make it work like the other ones did, if you're truly being serious. In the Club Connect one, I'd have to cut off 1/4 of an inch, and then I'd have to end mill down 1/4 of an inch, and then I'd have to ream it all the way down so it was the same, so that they would all fit. Now this one, all I have to do is ream out a certain section of it to a certain diameter, shove in the adapter, bam, I'm done, and we're on our way. So I'm liking the ease of it. So that's where it's at. The other part is if you get so now I wouldn't recommend the iron adapter per se, but this guy, it just has all kinds of applications. Okay, so if you go to H&M Golf, and they've contacted me, so here's the end of the what do you call it, the storyline. If you go to H&M Golf and you truly are interested in something like this, and you put in the code name McGolf in the code MCGOLF, then I get a particular percentage, and I don't even know what it is. And that comes to me, and that comes to the channel. So that's where that's what would happen. So if you end up having, you like it, and you go there, you buy something, put in McGolf, and then that way we get a little bit of a kickback. Okay. And last but not least, so if you're taking out a Callaway pin, that's what a Callaway pin looks like. And if you're to use one of these other pins, use the pin that comes with it, it looks like that. It doesn't look as substantive as the other one, but that's the one that fits in the middle of that other guy. So there it is. And I'm going to be in the video tomorrow. There's going to be a video at 7 o'clock tomorrow, and that video talks about this. I did some real testing with it, switched some golf heads around, did a lot of banging of balls and the whole 9 yards. So it worked out pretty good. Okay, so that's where I'm at with it. So in summary, number one is when you're going to get fit, right? When you're going to go fit. As much as I hate to agree with my Golf Spy, but being brand agnostic here helps you guys out there. And it doesn't, the Callaway or Mizuno or whatever product that the person fits you to, you don't have to be that way all through your bag. Get what works, right? And I've done that quite a bit. I've done it quite a bit. It is not uncommon to change out wedges or driver from the irons in order to get the best performance. In this particular aspect over here, it just turned out that our boy Henry did very, very well with the Wilson all the way across the board and in comparison, so it was pretty good. That's the moral of that story. And then the other thing is about the glue. And that's just not the glue. The whole entire golf industry is at some sort of standstill almost. Robin was just telling me about another manufacturer on single length irons for lefties, and their idea of when they will be available is 1 year. Yeah, huh. So it's something else. So that's where we're at with it. So there you go, and that's where we're at. So let's go up here and see what's happening. Danny Johnson. Hi, Jim Robin. When did the old Callaway when you did the old, all right, and you put the shaft into the head, does the taper of the shaft determine how far it will go into the club head? Okay, so no. Well, yes and no, okay? The reason why you saw it go up and down so much is because the shaft itself was too small. All right, it was a 335 shaft and a 350 hosel. And that's the reason why I went straight up in it. Now, if you had a 335 hosel, you'd probably barely get into it, and you'd have to do a little bit more removal. And it's not because of the, I'll use this as an example because it does bore through a little bit. So if you were trying to put a shaft into this guy, what you would do is you would, it would probably stop right about here. And why is that? Well, not because of up here, but because of here, okay? It's because of here. And that's the reason why. Yeah. And so so you have to remove more of the shaft tip in order for it to get up so that it's going to stick out here like that. And that's the reason why you receive more. Now, like on Titleist, you have to remove like this much so it gets through all the hosel and everything like that. And that's what we're talking about. So that's what you have to do. So in most cases, you know, the back end of the tip, not the leading edge of the tip, is the culprit for not fitting. And then if it fits loose, you want to be very, very wary of that because it'll come out, right? That little bit that's grabbing it, it will come out. And that's when I've used it was kind of cool. I used a brass shim, and it was all the way around, and then I hacked it off, and then I sanded it down, finished the same way, but it had these like little accents all the way around. It was kind of neat looking. And I was thinking about doing that, but that piece fit in there just so well, and it worked out just so good. I thought I just can't ignore how good that works. All right, so hopefully that helps. Ray, my man, what's going on? SoCal. Seems Tour Edge is making more and more Champions Tour players give them a try. And dude, if they ever were to send it to me, the Tour Edge has been a hit with the Senior Tour for good night. I have no idea. It's been a while. That's how I found out about them, actually. And they do make a quality thing. I do believe that, with including the exotics. Right, most of that stuff that you see is the exotics, and that's what but they like it, and they're hitting the heck out of it right now. Matt, my man, what do we say? 75 question. Just going to enjoy the conversation. Have a great. No question. Oh my! Between all that and getting on the elevator without having to wait, I'm going to go get a doggone lotto ticket. There's Dave. How you doing, buddy? From London. There we go. We're across the road. Okay. Dave from Michigan. Man, we're all over the place. Rainy Sweden. Well, is it better to be a rainy Sweden or a cold Sweden? Okay. John Jenkins checking in from South Carolina. Very good, sir. Thank you for joining us. Here we go. Already have been able to play due to back pain and golfer's elbow. I need to take care of that first. Yes, you do. I'd much rather see people be healthy and enjoying the rest of their life as opposed to trying to play through it. And I've run across folks that do that. When they do these fittings, they say, I just got back from the doctor. You did what? I just got back from the doctor. Have you been released? Well, not yet. You're out of here. I won't even see if that's the case. But they just got rid of it, and so what happens is we fight, and it's kind of neat to see them grow through it, but you know, when you play that pain like an elbow or like a rotator cuff or like a replaced knee, you've been protecting it for a long time and you've developed a swing habit that you're probably not aware of. And when we get to the fitting and we do it, it's really kind of neat that I go, hey, are you still protecting? Are you feeling okay on the knee? Well, yeah, why? Well, this is what you're doing. And you, or the elbow or whatever, and you get them to swing through it, and all of a sudden they're swinging freer. And it's just fun to watch the added comfort in the play. Camilio in Bogota, thank you, sir, for checking in on us again. Here we go. Dave, what tips do you have for restoring dull, faded ferrules? Well, Dave, the easiest, quickest way is acetone. 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 That is, you just put some on like a little strip of paper towel about that wide, about that square. I put about 2 of them in together and done. And that's how it goes. Now, if you've watched any of those other any of my other videos on club making, that guy, that I pay particular attention to the ferrule, and so once you've got it shiny, I also put Glanzwetch on with the wheel. But those are the 2 things that I will do to finish it. And well, once you get it finished on the belt or the sandpaper method, then we'll use the acetone to get rid of all the marks and stuff, i.e. like that. There we go. All right, it's like that, and we will and then you polish it up. There we go. And then we polish it up. And that's how we do it. Mr. Charles, how are you, sir? X3 hot, 3 wood, X hot 3 wood. Ferrule's creeping up the shaft, appears to be collared ferrule, no slippage of the shaft when I twist the head. Are these 335? The answer is yes. Yes, they are. So with the 335 shaft, however, one way to check is check the grip alignment and see whether or not it's turned one way or another, right? Check that out and see, and if it's turned, then yeah, it's the head slipping off. If not, the collar might just need to be slid in. And if you get that, and if it truly looks like that, just a little dab of Gorilla Glue, right? Or that quick glue, the stuff that was super hard, really fast. Put a little drop on there, shove it back together, and it's done for the day. All right. What is the features I like most about the GC Quad? Okay. And this is coming from, and keep in mind, I'm a flight scope guy. So, what do I like most about the GC Quad? Working backwards, the fact that the GC Quad folks have embraced the internet. They've embraced family usage, and that their graphics are very entertaining. Okay, who likes going into a simulator or hitting something and it looks crappy? Nobody. And they've come away with these games. I've only seen 2, and I'm told there's a litany of these. In that they've got one where you hit iron shots and you're taking down zombies. And then for the kids, when at old carnivals, when you would throw darts at balloons, that you would hit the kids would hit wedge shots into the shot and try and knock down the balloon, and it turns into a game, and they can actually work on their wedge play. So if nothing else, they've made it entertaining. Okay, they've made it very, very entertaining. Now, as far as, there's a level of portability, but I don't think it's any more or less than the Flight Scope. It is a lighter unit, I will say that. It's smaller, more plasticky. It's taller and not nearly as wide. So yeah, it's a neat little setup. It's And you know, the other pro to that, I guess, would be is that it's ease of setup. Once you have everything aligned, you have a little alignment stick, you set it down, away you go. But those would be my favorites of that particular thing. Charles, what's my opinion of the new Apex 21 model? Hold that thought. You mean the Apex 21 model that I've got for me? Okay, so the Apex Pro 20, well, that's not the Pro model, honestly. That's the regular model. So we'll go back. The Apex has got the three models. It's got the standard, the DCB for deep cavity, and what would be the Pro model, which is more of the blade. And Callaway has embraced combo setting this year. They're real big. In fact, they're real big with it. And there are some shafts that go in the Pro because of a taper tip that don't go into the Apex because it's parallel. However, if you like something that's parallel tipped from the standard model and you're getting a combo set, they will make it work. So that means they're reaming out the Pros and they're putting in the other ones. So they will do some of that work for those combo sets only. They just won't go put it in. They'll just tell you no. And however, that's the way it works. Now, in fact, I just did a set. I fit a guy into a set of standards, 5 through the 8-iron 9-pitch gap in the Pro model because he does have ball striking capability. Now the Pro is kind of like I would call a not necessarily a hollow body, but it to me it appears hollow. Pardon me. It appears hollow, but I'm getting all kind of flustered here on this one. I think it plays way better than it's advertised. All right. Everybody's going to see it that, oh, it's a blade. I can't hit it because it's a blade. Well, I'm here to tell you it's probably one of the easiest hit blades I've ever seen. Okay. And people are getting crazy kind of distance out of it for being even a weaker lofted club. So if you're a decent ball striker, I would not be afraid to go look at these things. And I would also look at combo setting, right? Do combo set. But I think they're very, very good. And what's been working in them very, very well here as of late has been the Elevate Black Label. I just think that's a really good combination with those guys. On the other side of it has been if you're a really late releaser, the MMT. If you're just a good swinger, then I would go with the recoil dart. Well, I don't think you need a reason. Just let us know. Dave, I've secured an account with Seymour Putters. Really excited for my first batch. Nice. Well done, sir. Good job. So, fitting length to a putter. I have from way back in the day, it is a Kirk Curry fitting system, and it came with a putter that it adjusts up and down for length and for the lie angle, so that you let the golfer get comfortable over a club or over this model, this jig, whatever you want to call it, this putting tool. And you say, are you comfortable? Are you over the ball? Sure enough. And you lock it all down and let them make some putts, right? Just let them make some putts. And then watch their stroke and make sure they're in an alignment that you like. And if you're, eye over the ball, inside the ball, whatever your fitting style is, and take off with that. And just make some adjustments just to see until you can see that they're feeling pretty good about it. They're dropping putts, that whole 9 yards. And then that's what I would go with. And then I would measure the Seymour, cut it, bend it, grip it, send it on its way. And that's what we would do. So, yeah, that's where I would go with it. But man, I'd like to, yeah, you send me a picture when it comes in. I'd really like to see what they all look like together. Stephen from Waterford, Ireland. Stephen, I have to ask, and I know I did this once before, is that where the castle is at as well? I'd like to know. Robin and the family went to the Crystal while I played at we stayed at the castle, but I got to play the course there. Very, very nice. Has the grip supply started flowing again? Well, Charles, that's kind of a yes and no. It's really, I will say, spotty. Robin's been very, very strategic in her purchasing. And that when she knows that they come in batches, we've been ordering a few extras. And as it turns out, it's worked out pretty good because the next set that comes in needs them and so on and so forth. So it's gotten better. Well, there goes all the clubs I was showing you. I'll just set this guy right here then. So it's spotty, Charles. That's what we'll just say is that. Tim Brockhold, how are you, sir? What's going on? Glad to see you. Ha ha. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff, right? Ellsworth Adhesives. I'll look them up. We'll see. Thanks for the thing. Mr. Bob, how are you, sir? Thank you for chiming in here, buddy. Look at here. We ordered his irons today. We'll have them in before your wood fit. Look at that. Tim Mustard. Tim, stop it now. Where do you mean, where's the wedges? What do you mean, where are the wedges? You know where they're at. Look at you crying. So that one is a good question. So Tim was in here when we were my rep came in, and we were talking about different things. And nice enough guy, he's new to this. He's new to Callaway, and somewhere along the lines, Tim's in here, and he's had forged wedges his entire time. He likes the leading edge being straight and killed, and he's having he was having a hard time replacing the ones that he basically wore out. And the guy says, "Well, what do you mean? We got some new ones." And runs back out to his car and comes back with some forged wedges. And next thing I know, Tim's ordering some wedges. And honestly, Tim, what do you think? I thought they looked better than the old ones did, to be honest with you. I just like the way that they looked. So not too bad. So for anybody else has that question, Callaway now has forged wedges. So there you go. Oh, went too far again. Daggone it. There we go. Sonny V, how are you, sir? Getting nice in Ontario, but still the most dangerous place in the world. They're talking about extending past May. Good gravy.
The wedges are only available within 2 weeks. Then they're going away. The wedges are only out for a limited time.
Really? Yeah. What kind of stuff is that?
That's what I'm told.
All right. Well, the McGolf crew is just keeping me all kinds of informed. She just said that those wedges are going to be available for a limited time, 2 weeks. As apparently it's a limited offering. So if you guys are interested in something in the way of a forged wedge, you better get hot. There's Jason Rose from Facebook. How are you, sir? Thank you. Is there a way to get an adjustable fitted driver off a graphite shaft without a shaft puller? Well, from a professional's point of view, the answer to that is no. Okay. Now, there are, if you're mechanically inclined, the answer is yes. But you're still going to have to pull. Now, what I would suggest is there's a screw that you'll find that goes into the base of this adjustable or this adapter, right? and you put a washer on the end of it, and if you get that thing hot enough, you can pull it out. Now, it takes a lot of effort to make that happen, okay? You'll see on the internet where some guy grabs it with a pair of pliers and pulls it out, and I would have to argue the point that that was just pure luck, okay? Just absolute pure luck. And it runs a high risk of damaging the head or the shaft. So I would not necessarily do that. But so the real answer is no, I wouldn't recommend it. But to the point, Jason, is that, you know, it doesn't take a real fancy one to do it either. You can go get, because if you're only doing it for yourself and you've got all the time in the world, then I would go to Golf Works, and they have various kinds and sizes of different shaft pullers, and some of those are not very expensive. And if you're looking to, you know, maybe use it on something else, it may very well be worth the time just to invest into that, apply a little heat and pull, and just see what you get. There we go. The UK again. Thanks for the great advice. Shorten the driver by an inch, lost a few yards, but hitting fairways, just moving the weights M1 to fine-tune the flight. And I think what'll happen here, bud, is that once you get your weights to where you like it, that your distance will come back. I'm looking out at my range, or the range as the case may be, and there's no rain this time. I just wish you guys could see it. It's because it looks really, really good. There's Joe on Facebook as well. Thank you, sir. We did. We had an excellent week. How about you? Where did your job take you this time? I'm just waiting for you to tell me Antarctica one time, and then I'm just going to just laugh. Because what are you going to do? David, what do you say? Generous offset on GI irons. What is it supposed to help with? Impossible to hit these flush. Unfortunately, I got fit into 3 months back and just received the clubs. Ooh, David. So, game improvement irons with offset is made to help you correct a slice. Not correct, it's minimize, right? Nothing's a slice corrector. And what it does is let me get another thing here. What it does, and this is like the absolute worst, the worst simulation, but so what the offset is, it's the difference between the leading edge and the leading edge of the hosel. So if you see this right here, this has almost zero offset. So when it gets greater offset, this sets out forward. And what that does is that gives you an extra nanosecond, an extra time frame in order to help you get the club closed, okay? That's what it's for. Now, if you were a person that was hooding the club quite a bit, and you know, if you were pushing the club quite a bit and you're hitting diggers, that kind of thing, chances are that's what it is. And so don't push the hands forward so much, and then that way you should be okay. But that's what it is. All right. Montreal. Well done, sir. Thank you for checking in on us. Yep, Cedar Rapids in the house. I knew what CR is. Did you go see Richard? I saw that he was at St. Andrews a couple of times on Facebook. He should help you out. So should be all right. Chris, any word on other manufacturers making one length? I'm sold on them, but as a side note, I use hybrids all the way down to the 5 hybrid. That's okay. There's only 3 that I'm aware of, and Cobra, Wishon, and Adele or Edel. That's what it is. Those are the 3. And now there's another group they're called. I believe they're called One Length, right? I believe they're called One Length. And those are the only groups that I know that have embraced the idea of one length, right? You know Cobra has to, because they got Bryson on their stock. Wishon's doing it, or what you would call Sterling, and that was a business idea, and I think it was a good one. And then Edel did it, and that was because I think Edel took it on as a challenge working with Bryson. And then One Length has always been in there, and I think they got caught napping, but they're catching back up. So there we go. So I hope for that one. Now, if you're going to use hybrids, I don't think that they have too many in the way of hybrids in a lot of these cases. You're going to be hitting all the same length, so the iron play, you should be able to get up there a little bit higher. Brendan, how are you, sir? I had a great laugh the other day when trying to blow off a grip off my putter and save the grip. It went up like a balloon, went bang, and nearly burst my eardrums. Well, Brendan, that is the pitfall of doing that when you have that. And once you get more used to doing that kind of stuff, that tends to go away. I think everybody that experiments with the air, that happens to them in one form or another. And they used to make a tube, a PVC tube that you would put over the top of that thing, and once you blow it up, and that way, if it did, it stayed on the tube, and it kind of gave you a warning that you were blowing the thing up a little bit too much. So maybe next time, buddy. Maybe next time. Well, we got some fun out of this. There's my buddy Bob. Did the new green one? Did you take the other putter out for a test drive, Bob? With that new, with the other grip, Bob's the guy that's the tester you saw in one of the videos with the putter, and he loves that grip, that BJM grip, and I put it on another putter for him, and I just want to know how it was working out. So let me know, man. And we have Westchester here in a couple of days, or in about 2 weeks. So we'll be talking before then, I'm sure. David, when fitting wedges, how do you choose to make all the wedges the same length or 1/4 steps? Well, Dave, there for the longest while, I used to do nothing but make them all the same length, with the idea that the swing weight would help the golfer get underneath the ball. That was the idea. And I was only thinking one-dimensionally. And what do I mean by that? I was thinking that the whole idea is always getting underneath the ball. However, there are some situations in which trying to get totally under the ball is not the right thing, i.e. hard pan, or super deep rough. And to use it more like a tool and less like a one-off item. And what I mean by that is that it can only, just gets underneath and that's the end of it. Where it becomes more utilitarian when you do it the other way. And so from there on in, I've done 1/4 inch lengths going forward. Now, what I will also do is, I also look at head weight, right? I also look at head weight. And the reason being for that is between the pitching wedge and the gap wedge, sometimes those weights will come in and they will be identical. And when they're identical, instead of head weighting those, I will let them be the same length together and then go in from 1/4 inch from there. And again, depending on head weight. And that way it feels better, right? And those two things, the head weight at the pitching wedge and the gap wedge, those will be full swing clubs. When you hit the sand wedge and the lob wedge, those are more like finesse clubs, and quite rarely, if ever, are you going to hit full swings, where the pitch and the gap will be full swings and half swings. So I don't mind that at all. It went down to the bottom again. There he is. And ordered some Golf Pride, took about 2 months. Isn't that just something? We're getting used to a new supply line, and with our instant gratification that we're all used to, it's not happening like that anymore, is it? So any of us that were smart enough to get any supplies, we're doing okay. It's the ones that we're buying one off is we're suffering. And I'm doing both, so I can feel it. I'm making a do-it-yourself super speed stick. JB Weld, baby. Well, I got to tell you, buddy, JB Weld is certainly a thing. That stuff, once it gets on, it's not coming off. So make sure both sides of that stuff are prepped pretty good. And next week, let us know how it works. What's a good, cheap, heavy driver shaft to make short drivers? Well, Guy, I would, the best place to go is I would send you to, again, Golf Works, and they have a gazillion shafts, right? They have a gazillion shafts. They even have some of their own, and they were called, well, they have a Maltby brand, and they tend to be less expensive, and they have a varying weight classes, right? And then you'll find some, and they have a sales section, and you can go there as well and check out the weights and flexes that you're looking for, and they should be able to help you out. But when you're talking tip heavy driver shafts, you're going to have to find the tip heavy driver shafts are going to be basically ones that say that they have stiff tips, stiffer tip profiles, that kind of thing. And that'd be something to look for when you're looking at Golf Works. 89 degrees. Woo! There you go. As I was telling Robin and my dad were over here the other day, and we were talking about weather, and I'm looking down, I'm like, man, it's supposed to get really doggone hot. And they, what do you mean get hot? It's not supposed to get more than 65 degrees. And I looked down, I was looking at St. Augustine. Yeah, well, I missed that one. Would have liked to have been down there because the weather down there was far better than it was here. Mr. Willard, how are you, sir? You got off the cart path. Oh, cart path only after day. Well, how did the surgery go? That was the one we were talking about. How'd that surgery go? Oh, well, Krister, I tell you what, the one thing that's good about that is it allows you to get your golfer's elbow taken care of. You can get it all healed up before you take all their money. John Kelly, how are you, sir? I like the clovers. You have a PXG driver and you want to change the shafts without ability to try them in mind. Can I use another driver with comparable head specs and use that winner? The odds of success. I would say pretty good, right? It won't be, obviously it's not going to be exact, and if that's what you have, that's what you have, right? And if you can get something that is close, let's say, most of the PXG drivers, I'd try the Ping stuff because that's going to be your closest look, closest feel, closest look, closest everything. I would use the Ping, and if they have it in that, then I would try it in that. And if you did, you'd probably be very, very close. Next one, oh geez. The next one after that, I might look at probably a Mizuno club. They're very similar in their shape, very similar in their profile. They don't look the same on the top, but as far as shape and profiles go, they're very, very close. Chris, there you go. Everybody uses the air, I think it's a rite of passage. If you haven't blown one up, you really haven't done enough. You just have to do it. There we go, Guy. There's a Pro Force ready for you, and that's a tip heavy. That is for sure. What differences do pistol grip compared to straight putter grips make? So Dan, what that means is, I don't have one with me here, I'm just looking. So the pistol grip is basically on the back end, it curves, right? It curves off to the back, so the very tip top of it is bigger, and it comes down into the normal part of it, so that's where you can grip it. The theory of it is that it sets a little bit easier in this area, right in this neck of the woods right here, and it depends on where you set it. If you are setting it like in your fingers and you set the putter grip like right here, and so that it can, you know, touch the back end of your hand, you'll probably like that a little bit better. Now, if you're more universal in your grip, you will like the straight putter grip instead. Now, there are all sorts of styles of these grips. Golf Pride has the SNSR, and in that SNSR category, there's a red, a blue, and a gray. And if I recall correctly, the blue is more straight, the red has a small turn, and then the gray has this big turn in it. So it very hand friendly, very hand stuff like that. And that's how I would go about it. That's where I would look at that. And I would really look at that one as the way. So if you're sitting it more in the back of your hand and less universal, then I would use that as the way I would do that, and go from there. All right. Jesse Greenlee, how are you, sir? Blew a grip right up in front of a customer last week. To say he jumped would have been an understatement. Those things make such a huge boom, it's not even funny. It's a whole nother level of loud, particularly when it's inside, right? Oh my God, it echoes for a day. And yeah, it'll get your attention in a hurry. Sorry, I know the differences, but how does it affect the stroke? Well, in reality, if it depends on how much this occurs, right? If you have the bigger back end, if this is the predominant hand as the back end, it ought to slow you down on that kind of stuff, and you ought to aim a little bit better. And typically the pistol grips are longer. If this was the top and the flat, it's longer this way, and if you're straight, if you finish, really looking at the hole, it would tend to work a little bit better, and it would make you a little bit more, I don't know, straight on. That's where I'd go with it. Jim, Ronald, what's going on? Hasn't been a while, bud. Does the focus on keeping your head on the ball deserve the play it gets? No. No, not even. And keeping your head on the ball, that one, if we're talking about putter, no. If we're talking about keeping your eye on the ball when playing, that could also be argued as well. But we'll stay in the putter, and you can send me another note, but from a putter perspective, my idea has always been that, there's a range of which you can be over top of this golf ball, because we're all different shapes and sizes, the way that we see, the way that we have glasses, that kind of stuff, and that you may have to be inside the line in order to just see it properly. And that will bear itself out when you do the length test and you like choke down and get closer, or stand up and get further away, or do these different motions in order for that to happen. Now, it's always been, at the line or inside the line, but going over the line is typically taboo, right? I really don't like that. However, there again, golf being what it is, I've had a few folks that saw the line a little bit better over the ball than inside or the other way. And we tried it for quite a few shots, just couldn't get it there. And it was just the way that they looked at the ball when they were setting up for the stroke. And so you have to be very cognizant of that. However, over the line, inside the line is, I would say, a large percentage. And I would say more inside the line than directly over top of the ball. Now, as far as full-on swings, I don't know. You got these here. These are no lines. So when I go to pull back, if I even move my head off, it becomes a fuzz ball anyway, and I hardly ever see it. So I don't know if that's necessarily it. I think it's more about staying centered. Yes, you're really doing good, hey. There you go. That's what we're talking about right there, bud. All right. Chris, how are you, bud? It's been a bit. Diamond Tour Golf is another good place to pick up discounted shafts. Okay, yeah. There you go. So we're actually getting really close. We're making this thing good. I mean, we're starting to see a lot of people out golfing, and it's starting to slow a lot of folks down. So again, as a bit of a review, number one, like and subscribe if you would. Like and subscribe the channel. If you see the other stuff down here below with the follow us on Instagram, Facebook. If you look up either McGolf Custom Clubs or I Am McGolf, you'll find me. And I've been doing a lot with Instagram on the Reels. It's like a little 15-second snippet of work that we've been doing, and it's been really, really good. Look at this right here. Does it look familiar? Anyway, you get to follow us. You get to see some of the work that we've been doing. You get to see all the clubs that are going out and some of the changes that we're making. The other one is if you're looking for an apron, we still have a few more of the aprons left that still have the McGolf on it. We have large and extra large, and then we still have the tour towels in various colors, which is a good thing. And last but not least, to go back to the fitting piece, if you decide that if that's for you, if you'd be so kind to use the code word McGolf, and that way we can keep everything going along and making things happen. And we'll keep talking, and I'll keep you informed on how this is working, because the initial testing is very, very positive. It'll be a bit of a trial getting reinvested into shafts and connectors, but it's worth it not being able to provide what's needed. So I like that one as well. And hopefully everybody's been... what do we got here? Charles, the Helix Grip, I've asked for them to send me one, and they said that they would, and I still have yet to get it, so I'm assuming that's in that same bottleneck as everywhere else. I got, the funny part is when you get it all twisted and you get it up in there, like, it reminds me, the pattern reminds me of what I've got on my Callaways right now. It reminds me of the Z Grip without any cord. All right, and I am really starting to like that grip. It's I think it feels better than the Tour Velvet, and it's not sticky. It just has that same grip, but in a different fashion. It's just a new pattern. I just really, really like that. So that was a good one for that one. All right. With 2 minutes to spare, any more questions, guys and gals? Any more out there? You see me doing some work in the background. I was making some clubs. That's on my How to Bet a Golf Club library. That's pretty good. Let's go back and make sure I didn't lose anybody here. Did I make sure I got everyone? I did. Alrighty. Oh, Robin got an idea or a note saying that if I'd stay 5:30 p.m. instead of 17:30, I'd probably get more folks from the U.S. So next week we'll see 17:30 or 5:30 p.m. on there. We'll see how that shakes out. Maybe we'll get some new folks. Again, guys, thank you so very much for watching. Like and subscribe. And here we go. One more, and then we'll call it in. Two more. How many long drivers do you build for? I'm guessing quite a few. Chris, not very many. As a matter of fact, long driving has kind of taken a dip in popularity. However, I have been working with this one guy who is stopped long driving, and he's going to try and make a real attempt at the senior tour. And this guy is winning all kind of stuff. And it's funny, I've been kind of helping him around. He knows his way around golf, but the golf equipment, I got him a little bit, and he and I've gotten together and produced some pretty good results, so that's pretty good. Do you think OEM shaft guys could spline at the factory so labels weren't an issue? You know what? Yeah, I do, but they don't. And some do, some don't. Like I get like there's a spine mark, and then there's a spine mark. So one's heavier than the other. And I will use that, and one of those are it. Now for the ones that don't have these funky that can go in either direction, or you want it in some sort of alignment, yeah, that doesn't happen very often, and not very much at all. Yeah, I know, right? And in a lot of cases, if I ever get anybody asked, that's normally logo down, and we do try to ask, to make sure your logo is sensitive, so that if you see one out of place, you don't freak out. Because, well, just like on this one for Henry, I've got 2 of them out of place. The rest of them are on the bottom. So it's all how it turns out. Alrighty, now we're there. Again, guys and gals, thank you very much. UK, Switzerland, I mean, just everywhere. Sweden, I'm sorry. Sweden, UK, Dave, thank you for asking me all those questions. And guys, as usual, let me get him out of here. Let's do this. There we go. And as usual, guys, watch for the video. It's going to come out at 7 o'clock or 0700 Eastern time. And we'll go there, and hopefully we'll see you guys again next Monday, and we'll talk about more golf stuff. And as always, let's see your scores go low.